This is Dr. Kalpana Chauhan. Today's webinar is on uh, networking, professional networking, and it will be presented by Mr. H.R. Mohan, who is a seasoned IT professional. And first of all, I'm requesting to all participants that during the webinar, please mute yourself as well as switch off your video so that you get the information uninterrupted. So let me give a brief intro about Mr. Jamohan, who is a seasoned IT professional with over 4 decades of experience in ICT field. He has seen the growth of computing in India and has been a part of the IT community for various technical associations such as Computer Society of India. He is a national president during 2014 and 15. He is IEEE Computer Society chairman of Madras chapter during 2006 and 15 to 15, and Association of Computing Machinery ACM. He serves as the chairman of ACM during 2000 from 2019. Mr. Mohan is the 1976 batch alumni of IIT Madras. Till mid-2014, he had served as the Associate Vice President of Systems of the India's national newspaper, The Hindu. He was instrumental for the internet publishing of The Hindu, the first newspaper from the India to go online way back in 1995. Mr. Mohan is well known in the information technology professional circle. He is a fellow and past president of Computer Society of India. He has represented India in international forums such as ICANN, IFIP, and STRACC. Mr. Mohan is a senior member of IEEE, the world's largest technical association. He has actively served and continues to serve in the executive councils of IEEE Computer Society, IEEE Professional Communication Society Chair, IEEE Communication Society Vice Chair and Technology, IEEE Engineering Management Society Vice Chair, and IEEE Ocean Engineering Society as a EC member. He had also served as the Vice Chair of IEEE Madras Section and Chair of IEEE Madras Student Activities. He currently serves as the Region 10 Asia Pacific Coordinator of Geographic Activity Committee of the Member and Geographic Activities Board of IEEE Computer Society. Mr. Mohan is also a senior member of ACM, the world's largest computing society, and currently he is the chairman of ACM India Chennai. Mr. Mohan has received the prestigious 2017 IEEE MGA Leadership Award for his contribution to IEEE. Earlier, he has also received the IEEE Computer Society Meritorious Service Award and a Golden Core member of elite group of less than 500 in IEEE Computer Society. He has rich experience in editing, publishing, and content management. Mr. Mohan manages a number of key groups related to his professional activities and interests, and also assists non-profit organizations and institutions in managing their websites. Mr. Mohan is over 3 decades of association with technical societies, has organized over 1,000 events and delivered over 300 presentations across the country in the areas of his interest. Mr. Mohan is a quiz enthusiast and regularly conducts ICT quiz at various institutes and forums. He is also an active blogger and his posts on interesting reads are very popular. Mr. Mohan believes in information and knowledge sharing among wider audience and make all available for such initiatives. Now I am requesting Mr. Mohan to share his experience in front of the participants. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. This is Mohan from Chennai. In fact, at the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Kalpana for giving me this opportunity to interact with the participants on the power of networking and volunteering. Actually, volunteering and networking, they go together. So that is the reason I thought that I will talk first about volunteering and then highlight about the networking opportunities and the benefits arising out of that. When you talk about volunteering, normally as students, we get involved in technical activities not so much with social activities. So, which means that volunteering for us starts from technical associations. In my career as a student in 1976 at IIT Chennai, I became member of Computer Society of India, and I immensely benefited by the membership. It gave me a lot of opportunities, which I will be briefing sometime later. But when I joined the organization for a job, there are a lot of technical challenges, and it required some amount of handholding and some sort of information gathering was necessary. At that time, I felt some of the technical associations like IEEE, ACM, they become very handy. Particularly, I started my career in the area of computer science, though I am not qualified CSE student, because at the time when we passed out, there are no computer science courses. In fact, during my middle of BTech program, only the computer science started in IIT Madras, that even only the master's degree. So, which means that we have been mostly trained in the area of computer science on the job, and some of the skills what we required, we acquired through various sources, particularly through
ஆமாங்க சார்.
technical
நான் இல்ல
associations.
இது வெளியே வெபினார்.
So, I would like to start my presentation on one of the major technical society, which is IEEE. So, the IEEE is the world's leading professional association, and it was formed. The basis of IEEE is the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, which ultimately merged with the Institute of Radio Engineers, which was started in 1912 and ultimately became IEEE in 1963. The mission of IEEE is to foster technological innovation and excellence for the benefit of humanity. So IEEE aims to inspire, enable, empower, engage members in advancing technology for humanity. Through its global membership, IEEE is a leading authority on areas ranging from aerospace systems, computers, telecommunications, to biomedical engineering, electrical power, and consumer electronics, among so many other things. Members of IEEE rely on IEEE as a source of technical and professional information and resources and lot of its services, right from standards, conferences, and extended courses and so on. To foster an interest in engineering profession, IEEE serves the student community as student members right from the young age. In fact, they have started even supporting the students from the school nowadays. And IEEE, when you talk about IEEE, I was mentioning it is a large association, and it has got 422,000 members around the globe in 160 countries, with more than 50% happens to be outside the United States. In fact, India has got about 50,000 members. In terms of country, India is the second largest in IEEE membership. IEEE is divided to 10 geographic regions, and there are 339 sections in these geographic units. And India comes under geographic unit region 10. And in the region 10, India is the largest in terms of membership. And IEEE has got 2,430 chapters. So locally, the particular area in a country is divided into chapters, and there are 2,430 chapters, particularly catering to various needs of technical societies. And among these chapters, there are student branches where the students become members, and there are about 3,300 student branches across the globe. And incidentally, India happens to be having more than 500 plus student branches, again topping in the world. And IEEE, as I was mentioning, services various technical fields, and there are 39 societies and 7 technical councils. If you look at IEEE, it tries to bring in some amount of collaborative networking features, particularly grouping peoples of similar interest. That is called affinity groups. And there are few affinity groups such as young professionals. These young professionals are none other than the students who have passed out from the engineering or allied courses and who are having less than 10 years of experience. They are the people who require a lot of hand holding in their job, in their internship, or in their research and so on. So IEEE serves them with a greater interest. So this is one of the largest affinity group, having close to 1,20,000 members. And the next affinity group is the women in engineering. Again, of late, lot of women are taking courses in engineering technology, and instantly they are also doing extremely well. Unfortunately, their representation in the higher levels of management is relatively low. There are various reasons for that. Some could be the home family reasons, break in service, and so on. So ultimately, in the corporate ladder, their positions are stagnant. So the IEEE has taken cognizance of this, and they would like to coach these type of women engineers to attain some leadership goals so that they can prosper in their career aspirations. And also they would like to help the women students, particularly during their courses, give them opportunities, give them fellowship, internships, conference opportunities, and so on, so that they can excel in their studies. And they are also very particular in making the school children, again, women, the girl students, to know about the benefits of engineering and make them to understand the realities of engineering and the career opportunities of engineering so that they can take up these engineering courses. So these two are, that is the young professionals as well as the WIE, they are two major affinity groups which is drawing the attention of IEEE globally. And in fact, there are a lot of Indian talents have benefited through these groups. And there is another group for life members who are seniors, who are available for networking, who are available for guiding the young members. Globally, IEEE, as I was mentioning, has got 4 lakh plus members. Of them, around 10% of them are life members. So which means about 40,000 people who have served in the engineering areas, disciplines, who are relatively free, are available for supporting the young members of IEEE. So this life members group is very active in terms of providing consulting as well as helping the younger members. And IEEE believes in entrepreneurship, particularly the globalization and declining job opportunities. Entrepreneurship is taking shape, and IEEE helps a lot of members to get into self-employment, creativity, innovation, new product development, and these areas. So these special interest group or affiliated group on entrepreneurship helps them to a great extent. IEEE is supposed to be very well known for its standards. In fact, the most popular IEEE standard is 802, which deals with Wi-Fi, without which now the entire world will come to standstill. So IEEE has got 1,250 active standards, At any point of time, there are about 700 plus standards are under development. So the IEEE provides a lot of opportunities for the members to get into standards development. And IEEE, as I was mentioning, it is the largest technical association and helps the members to present the research findings through various technical journals which they publish. In fact, IEEE brings out 200 technical journals, including transactions and magazines. And in fact, it is said that one third of the technical literature is being published by IEEE. And all the IEEE journal articles and proceedings of the conference are all archived as a digital library, which is known as IEEE Explore. And currently it holds about 5 million documents. And it is very heavily accessed by the researchers, students, faculty members. And every month it records about 8 million downloads. So as I was mentioning, IEEE organizes a number of conferences to promote technical awareness. Annually, it holds about 1900 conferences in almost more than 100 countries and partnering with over 1,400 non-IEEE entities and has trained close to 500,000 delegates. And there are about 1,800 proceedings per year are published through the IEEE. So these are certain facts of IEEE and its size. And when coming to membership in IEEE is open to individuals, and some of the designated fields of IEEE are mainly engineering, computer science, information technology, physical sciences, biological and medical sciences, mathematics, technical communication, education, management, law and policy. You may be wondering how law and policy has to do with the IEEE, which is generally known as Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. The law and policy has become very critical in the days of intellectual property. Any creativity coming up is having a lot of intellectual property. It is a main source of royalty income. And there are a lot of litigations, obviously law and policy matters in terms of how to use a technology becomes very critical. And IEEE nurtures the talents in these areas. IEEE offers membership in different categories. One is a student member. The next category is the graduate student, who happens to be a student who just passed the course. He becomes a graduate student. Till his PhD, a member can be a student member, but they are called graduate students. And then we have associate who join the IEEE as an entry level member is associate. Then he becomes regular member after a few years of membership in IEEE. And people with 5 to 10 years of experience, having demonstrated their abilities in the field of work, they are promoted as senior members. It is one of the major recognition for a member in IEEE to become a senior member. And the highest degree of membership in IEEE is the fellow. There are about 250 to 300 members annually are elected as fellows based on their contribution in the field of science and technology. And over and above, there are special categories like life member, young professional. Of course, we saw about young professionals who are passing out from the course, and the society affiliates, which they don't become members of IEEE directly, but they become the society members. And most of the IEEE members choose to add value to their membership by becoming members of one of the 39 technical societies. And basically the membership in that technical society helps them to access current information, opportunities to network with their peers, and enhancing the worldwide value of their profession. And also, IEEE societies offer their members online full text access to the publications. Most of the societies they publish journals of specific interest to the members. And I just run through the list of various IEEE societies. I'm not going to elaborate about the societies, but just I will give you a bird's eye view in terms of the variety of subjects IEEE deals with. IEEE Aerospace and Electronic Systems Society, Antennas and Propagation, Broadcast Technology, Circuits and Systems, Communications, Components Packaging. Here, components I mean the electronic components, and Computational Intelligence, Computer Society. The Computer Society happens to be the largest society, having close to about 85,000 members, followed by the Communication Society, close to about 60,000 members. In fact, ICT technology is the globally the most vibrant society. And the next society is the Consumer Electronics Society. Consumer electronics has become very, very important in the current scenario. There are a lot of consumer electronic devices have come into picture, and lots of developments happening in this multi-billion-dollar industry. Then we have Control System Society, Dielectrics and Electrical Insulation, and Education Society. IEEE believes in imparting technical education using technology. So this IEEE Education Society helps the members and faculty in this direction. Electromagnetic Compatibility Society, Electron Devices, Engineering and Medicine and Biology. In fact, the field of medicine is now dominated with electronics and instrumentation, and a lot of engineering principles are being applied in medicine. And biological sciences are influenced by the computer science. The fields like system biology and bioinformatics and computational biology have become very popular. So the engineers and biologists and medical doctors, they come together in serving the humanity, and particularly this IEEE Engineering Medicine and Biology Society helps the people who are associated in these areas. So geoscience and remote sensing, industrial electronics, industrial application. This industrial application society is one of the basic society wherein the technologies which are being applied in different industries are dealt with, and engineer of any kind will find the membership in industrial application society very valuable. Then you have the information theory, a fundamental society, which talks about information, coding, and associated technologies. And particularly computer science students, they find it very useful to become member in information theory society. Then intelligent transportation. Nowadays, we are all experiencing the transportation industry is going through a lot of changes. Autonomous cars have come, and almost about 70 to 75% of the automobile components are become electronic, and automation is playing a major role. And IEEE support the people who are in the transportation industry through this society. Then instrumentation measurement society, again it is a fundamental society. Anything which cannot be measured cannot be controlled. It is a fundamental of engineering, and it is a basic society which has got influence in almost all the industries. And IEEE supports a lot of people who are involved in the process and other industries. Lasers and electro-optics, magnetic society, micro theory and techniques. Then you have nuclear and plasma sciences. This is a relatively new society which emphasizes on renewable energy, particularly nuclear energy. At the same time, nuclear energy is considered to be hazardous because a lot of safety practices have to be followed. And this nuclear and plasma sciences focuses on imparting various developments and awareness and safety features and etc. for the people who are getting involved in this nuclear engineering. Ocean Engineering Society. Underexplored world is the ocean. In fact, the wealth under the ocean is not yet been explored, and there is no value has been determined. In fact, Government of India has recently announced Yeah, mission on ocean technology, almost about $1 billion, close to about 7,000 crores have been allocated for this technology development. And this ocean engineering field employs all types of engineering graduates, and it is one of the most important society which has to gain its popularity, and strongly urge anyone who is interested in exploring the future of the wealth under the ocean to become the Ocean Engineering Society. Then you have Power Electronics, Power and Energy Society, again a fundamental society which deals with power generation and distribution, and also optimization techniques and so on. It is again one of the large society, close to about 50,000 members. The next important society in IEEE is the Product and Safety Engineering. Safety is one of the main features in engineering community. Any product what you develop has to have some safety features, and this particular society deals with the safe handling of equipments, safe handling of products, and so on. Again, a fundamental society as I was mentioning. Professional Communication Society. See, many of the engineers are technically excellent, but when it comes to communication or communicating their ideas with the people, particularly with the common man, they are not that good. And this gap is being addressed by the Professional Communication Society, which helps the engineers to excel in communication and report writing, project management, negotiation, and including writing various handbooks and so on. And reliability society. Engineering products have to be reliable. So absolutely there is no reason why this reliability society has become very popular. And coming to robotics and automation society, it is becoming one of the most important society under IEEE. The robotics are taking over the world. And in fact, if you look at Amazon, almost about 30% of their workforce is robots. They completely manage their warehouses and packing and including dispatch. Only external jobs are being handled by human beings. So the robotics having a lot of influence not only in engineering areas and also in medical areas, hospitality industries, and so on. So lots of developments are happening in the robotics field. And incidentally, this robotics and automation society offers one of the most cost-effective membership, just $5 per year. Signal Processing Society, again a fundamental society. Society on social implications of technology. Technology having is being a sword having a sharp edge in both the sides, and it can be used or misused. So this social implication society deals with the safe and best use of technology, and particularly ethical use of technology. Solid state circuits, system and cybernetic society, technology and engineering management society. Again, the engineers over a period of time, they get the leadership roles, and at that time they need to be quite good at management. And this particular society, Technology Engineering Management Society, helps them to acquire management skills as well as provide them the opportunity of knowing the state of art technology being applied in various industries. Again, a fundamental society which all engineers are expected to become members of this Technology Engineering Management Society, which is popularly known as TEMS. Then we have Ultrasonics, Ferroelectronics, and Frequency Control Society. And of course, the vehicular technology is almost close to Intelligent Transport Society. And these technical societies are being formed in the areas of mature technologies. There are technologies which are evolving, and some of the evolving technologies, before they become the basic societies, they are known as technical councils. There are 7 technical councils. Biometrics, you all know that Aadhaar has become the world's largest biometric based authentication system in the world. And the Biometric Council deals with all the associated technology and problems with this area. Then Council of Electronic Design Automation. This electronic design automation is becoming very important, particularly in the context of a lot of imports are happening in the field of electronics, and particularly in India, close to about 50 billion worth of electronics are being imported annually. And considering the rate of consumption of electronic components and items, it is expected that our electronics imports will cross about 400 billion by the year 2025. So, which means it will be close to about 80% of our reserves, which is close to about 500. Obviously, this is not possible for a country like India. So, we have to become self reliant in electronic design, and particularly making things in India. The Make in India concept has to be popularized. And so, the Council of Electronic Design and Automation becomes very useful for Indian engineers. Then, superconductivity, lot of research is going on. Another area is nanotechnology, which is drawing attention globally. Sensors Council. So again, with the development of internet and IoT, Internet of Things, we are expecting close to about 50 to 60 billion devices. The sensors will be in the field throughout the world, and technology behind the sensors, particularly the sensor network, how to power these sensors, how to communicate between sensors and becoming very important. And this Sensors Council is addressing all these requirements. The System Council is an umbrella council which tries to integrate various components and look at things as a system level. Then we have the RFD Council. So, over and above this type of technology councils, there are a lot of new developments are happening in the field of engineering and technology. And these new areas are called future directions. And some of the initiatives which are being addressed by the IEEE at large is 5G. All of us are aware that the communication technology has grown into from 2G, 3G, 4G, and now we are talking about 5G, which is providing transmissions up to 100 gigabits. And this is going to change the entire way the business will be done throughout the world. Then we have technologies like blockchain, which is becoming very important, particularly to maintain integrity at various levels. And cryptocurrencies are backed by blockchain technology. Then we are talking about the realities: virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and digital reality. So they are all combined called digital reality. And this is another future direction which is under consideration by IEEE. Then you have autonomous systems, big data. I don't have to talk much about big data because people are quite familiar with the big data applications. The brain interface. We have been talking about the computer and human interface. And now computer and machine interface. The next level of interface with the computer is going to be the brain. So people are able to directly communicate with the brain. And in fact, there are experiments that have been done how to read the brain movements, and even the cognitive thinking is being analyzed. In fact, some experiment has been done by the pilot's brain activity. The entire aircraft can be operated. In fact, the experiment results they claim has been successful, but it has not been used for commercial use. In fact, it will take some more time, still under experimental stage. Then a major technology, cloud computing. See, when you have so much of dependence on technology and information, the cyber security becomes one of the major threat in the world. And there's a special interest group on cyber security. Then you have digital sensors, entrepreneurs, then global earth observing systems, green ICT. The information communication technology is said to be consuming close to about 3 to 4% of the entire power generated in the world. With so many data centers coming around the world, the power consumption is becoming more and more by these data centers, and there is a compelling need to make green energy, particularly make the computers to consume less energy, data centers consume less energy, and this green ICT is one of the major area. IoT I was talking about, internet technology policy. See, this deals with digital divide, net neutrality, and areas like that, making internet accessible by everyone. And we have life sciences, the application of technology in life sciences. Rebooting computing is over a period of time, the learning process has changed. And this rebooting computing is directly involved with how the technology has to be taught. And smart cities. Globally, the smart cities is a hot topic. And India is also the smart cities having a investment of more than 1 lakh crores and 100 plus smart cities have been identified. A lot of work is going on. The smart cities invariably rely on cyber physical systems where the human computers sensors they come together and then control major activities, and a lot of technology plays in the smart cities, and IEEE is very keen in supporting the smart city initiatives. And in fact, IEEE has come with a lot of standards in the smart cities, and they are also helping hand in providing technology transfer to areas where the people are working in smart cities. Particularly, Pune Smart City is one of the beneficiary of IEEE in this initiative. And smart grid, again coming to power generation, distribution, and consumption, there are a lot of power meters, interactive power meters, so that there is no need for people to go and take meter reading. And also, it keeps alerting people, you are using more power, and also it helps a way for dynamic pricing of power, so that the power consumption can be stabilized over a period of time. Then we have smart materials, software defined network, transportation electrification, technical ethics. The ethics is becoming major area as I was mentioning, particularly when more and more of artificial intelligence are being used in business transactions. So the ethical considerations have to be considered. Like for example, when autonomous vehicle runs out of control and meets with an accident, who is to be blamed? It's an ethical question because there is no driver and the entire car is driven by the software and electronics. So, are you going to sue the car manufacturer or the electronics and software designers and so on? So, there are a lot of unidentified and unanswered questions are there in technical ethics field. And so, these are some future directions of IEEE. And we talked about the special interest group and so on. So when you talk about the IEEE benefits overall, there are about six broad categories like keeping technically current, career resources and recognition, professional networking, continuing education, offering discounts and humanitarian programs. So what do you mean by keeping technically current? The IEEE offers free ebooks classics. There are about 500 plus classic engineering textbooks which have traced the history of development of engineering technology. They make it available free to the members. IEEE Digital Library, as I was mentioning earlier, having more than 5 million documents, they provide access up to the level of abstracts free, and for a nominal charge, the entire full text can be accessed. Then IEEE Potential magazine is provided free to all the student members so that they know the potentials of engineering and also come to know about the fundamentals and basic theory behind engineering. Then IEEE societies at nominal cost come to the members' benefit. Then Spectrum is the house magazine of IEEE, which is provided free of cost to all the members through digital delivery. That is mostly you get the PDF files. The print editions are charged extra. Then IEEE provides standards. Various standards are being applied throughout the world, and IEEE keeps the members informed about the standards and also provides them the opportunity to become a part of the standards development, testing, and so on. Then explore abstracts we talked about. IEEE ebooks They are all given, most of the books are given either free or priced very, very nominal rate for the members. And proceedings of IEEE, again, access is through the digital library. When you talk about the career and resource and recognition, so the career asset manager is a broad area under IEEE which provides support, and it has an excellent e-learning library with more than 600 plus courses in technology, management, self-development. So people at their own pace, they can participate in this. They can they can't download, but online they can take part in these courses and enrich their knowledge and leadership qualities. And women in engineering, it supports the women and girl students in career progression. And recognition comes to member elevation. As I was mentioning, the senior member elevation after serving in the area of your particular field for 5 to 10 years. Then my IEEE is a personalized view of IEEE based on your interest. You can configure the IEEE website as a my IEEE site, and which will focus on your interest areas first, so that you are at one go you will be able to know what is happening in your field of interest. Then IEEE maintains an excellent job site, provides information about various types of jobs coming up and the scenario in job market at various countries, so that it prepares someone for the future. Then IEEE Resume Lab, which helps people to write their resume in a more elegant way, which is acceptable to the industries and which put forward your strengths clearly. So it is an excellent service offered to the members. And IEEE publishes a lot of books on e-books related to career, student awards, scholarship, fellowship. It's one of the field where the students are encouraged by way of awards, scholarships, and fellowships. In fact, I can talk about this for almost 1 hour. There are lots of opportunities for students. Then IEEE conducts student competitions, project presentations, and hackathons, and so on. And exclusive newsletter is provided with the name Institute. Then professional networking. IEEE, as I was mentioning, being a technical association, it tries to bring the people of common interest. And first thing it does is that provides the IEEE email alias. Basically, you can have your own email ID with IEEE affiliation. Like for example, I have my email ID hrmohan @ IEEE.org. This gives a professional status. Particularly, many of the companies, when you subscribe for information or request for information, subscribe to the newsletters, they insist official mail ID. When you give the just Gmail ID, they don't recognize, they turn down the request. At the same time, when you give the IEEE.org email ID, immediately the request is accepted and your whatever you want is honored. So the professional recognition comes through the email first. This external interaction becomes very easy through the IEEE alias email ID. Then Google Apps at IEEE is an excellent feature. All of us who are having the Gmail account, we're all used to 15 GB of storage. But this Google Apps, once you have the IEEE.org email, it gives 30 GB of storage. I mean, it's a huge amount of storage which you can potentially use for all purpose. Then IEEE Collaboratech. It is again a fantastic initiative in terms of networking professionals. All of us are familiar with social networks like Facebook, Instagram, and particularly professional network like LinkedIn. This IEEE Collaboratech is a professional networking community, almost like LinkedIn. The only difference is it unites all the IEEE members, and you can form subgroups based on your special area of interest. So that way, if someone is interested in digital signal processing, they can form a small group of digital signal processing, and IEEE members throughout the globe, they can come together, they can become the members of the subgroup, and they start interacting. This is the best way of interacting with the professionals, posing your queries, getting the answers, multiple answers, not just single answer, but multiple answers, tips, and so on. An IEEE member network is again a networking feature of IEEE, wherein know your members becomes so simple through online. Then IEEE offers lot of local meeting, like when you have the sections and chapters of IEEE, they literally organize a number of events. In fact, IEEE Madras section and IEEE Computer Society in Tamil Nadu area, they have organized more than 1,500 events. Not only at the section level, but also through the various student branches and so on. And over and above, you have online communities. All this technical meeting provides an opportunity for members to know they come together and interact and then create networks. And then online communities and specific areas, as we have mentioned, the future directions and so on. And continuing education. IEEE believes in educating their members in particularly the new advancements. And it has got continuing education scheme. Then they run an exclusive TV channel called IEEE.tv. So this is one of the very interesting surveys wherein when I was mentioning about 1,800 conferences are happening throughout the globe, and sitting at your home using your desktop or mobile phone, you can participate in the inaugural sessions or some keynote presentations of these conferences. That is happens through the IEEE.tv, and only members can access this particular channel. You have to be a member. This is a member exclusive benefit. And even just for this alone, the membership in IEEE, I can say, it meets the cost. Then online education portal, then societies like Computer Society and Communication Society, they offer certifications, particularly the system design and then some of the new technologies like 5G and so on. Standards education and participation, pre-university education. Right from the pre-university, you can be able to understand what is happening in the field of engineering and identify what course you can take. And Try Engineering is one of the excellent portal which as an engineer, if you happen to visit, you will know the nuances of a particular field and technologies and course content, syllabus, and the job opportunities and research directions possible in these areas. Teacher in Service program helps the teachers in terms of supporting their skill development in course design and how to teach the students, and also to facilitate continuous education. The IEEE offers a lot of grants for students. And coming to discounts, IEEE offers discounts. IEEE members, they get discounts. One is through the Dell discounts. There are 30% of discount is given on all Dell products if you happen to be the member of IEEE. Then IEEE provides 25% conference discount, the registration fee. The IEEE publications are very much subsidized for the members when compared to non-members. Close to about 80% subsidy comes to members. Then a lot of goodies, IEEE merchandise available online. Then National Society member discounts, IEEE press discounts. Basically, IEEE works with closely with Wiley and publishing a lot of technical books, and 30% discount is available. And recently, they have also announced IEEE insurance scheme in India, wherein IEEE members can be insured to the tune of 10 lakhs at almost 60% of the nominal, 60% of the cost offered by the other insurance companies. And over and above, members up to the age group of 85 can be insured, and the student members can insure their parents, which is a unique feature in the insurance community. And IEEE, as I was mentioning, they are very much keen in using the technology for humanity, and they have two major schemes: special interest group on humanitarian technology called SITE, and engineering projects in community service EPICS. And both are funded anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. If you come out with a project of service to the humanity, IEEE is willing to provide funding. And recently, I know a few colleges, they have got funding to the tune of 10 to 15 lakhs in areas of IoT in agriculture, IoT for helping the blind, and things like that. And so, having said so much about IEEE, so we'll just quickly run through what is volunteering. Volunteering is a volunteer is known as a person who is willingly and without any pay or compensation offer his time and service to the society. Of course, of late, there has been some changes happening in the volunteering. There is a concept that paid volunteers have also come, particularly when there is a demand. Volunteering globally is coming down, so the paid volunteer scheme has started. And volunteering helps in developing interpersonal skills, ability to work in a team. When you volunteer, each people, they have their own views, and you need to work in a group and helps to get going in a group. And it provides a lot of leadership experience, ability to solve problem. Volunteering, you get into volunteering for a given cause without any preparation. So which means that a lot of new problems they come, and you try to use your indigenous technology or creativity to solve the problems. So you are able to improve your ability to solve problems and time management skills. All volunteering efforts are critical. So you need to understand the time involvement and time management. It helps you to improve the time management skills. And volunteering, provides a lot of opportunity to interact with the people. That way, you get into negotiating skills and convincing skills, ultimately, which can be very useful in sales and customer service. And volunteering helps you to plan and prioritize things. And overall, I can say that volunteering creates a better community. And volunteering is a sign of good citizen and who care about others. So now, as it has been mentioned, volunteering is generally unpaid service, but it is as good as credited as a paid service. Can be advantages in job interview. So if you are a potential volunteer and who have demonstrated your abilities as a volunteer, you are considered to be excellent or considered to be given priority during a job interview. And basically, it demonstrates your positive personality and which normally the employer looks for. So statistically, it has been found 92% of employers, they feel relevant voluntary experience gives the candidate an advantage in the job interview. So it means that you have experience in volunteering in a particular area, definitely you are prepared by 92% of the people. And when you talk about the volunteering qualities, what type of qualities are expected from a volunteer? First thing, he has to be enthusiastic, flexible, and reliable. Reliable means that you can't be doing volunteering just for the sake of volunteering. So you have to be reliable, you have to be dedicated and creative, passionate, which means that you have to put your soul in doing your volunteer activity. How to be integrity. Integrity is one of the very important things. Volunteering people, they depend on volunteers. So obviously, when so much of dependency has been created, you have to show your integrity and team working ability, communication skills is very important for volunteers. Report writing, when you do the volunteering activities, you need to publicize and at least let the others know what type of work has been done. So in a simple way. So you have to write reports and make it available to the general public at large. And organizational skills. So you may be managing a group of volunteers. You have to organize your team. So organization skills become very important. Adaptable. Again, so it is working in a group. You have to adapt yourself. You can't be singled out. In a group, you have to work, adapt with the group. Then problem solving skills is very important. Then interpersonal skills. Again, it is related to communication and so on. Maintaining good relationship with the people. Diplomacy. You have to be diplomatic. So you should not be hurting people. So you have to handle things in a very diplomatic way. And you have to use discretion. Depending on the conditions, the discretion becomes very important. And you have to have a lot of energetic. As a volunteer, You may be starving without food for hours together or sometimes maybe days. So you have to have energetic approach in all your activities, and over and above you have to be very positive in your attitude. So once you become negative, particularly it spreads to the people associated with you, and it demoralizes the entire activity. So as a volunteer, you have to show a lot of positive attitude and desire to motivate self and others. It's very important quality of a volunteer. You have to be first self motivated and also motivate others, and sensitive to the circumstance, and have to be efficient, systematic. You can't be doing haphazard things. So you have to do systematically things so that it produces ultimately a good result, well organized, and good at verbal and numerical skills. So these are certain volunteering skills requirement. And volunteering, where do you require volunteers? They're all required in charities, local authorities, non-profit organizations like IEEE and so on, private trustees. They are willing to fund projects, but at the same time to execute, you require volunteers at either free or low cost. So the volunteers are required, and many of the foundations like Gates Foundation and so on, they are philanthropic. They have a lot of money to spend on project for humanitarian development, but at the same time, they don't want to spend money in terms of employing people, and considerable amount of money is being spent on the salaries and so on. So different places the volunteers to play a role in orphanage, teaching and tutoring. Many of the corporate companies, the employees are become volunteers in teaching mathematics, English, and so on for the village students. They devote their time in promoting their appetite for learning, and medical health related works. Volunteers are there, and particularly you have seen that the current COVID situation, a lot of volunteers are being serving the community and community development, women empowering. So these are the areas where volunteers are being used. And in fact, apart from volunteering, we consider in terms of not paying, but it has a lot of health benefits. So some of the health benefits what considered is, it decreases the risk of depression. So when you meet people, you become light, happy, and so on. So if you are depressed, you try to meet the people, try to mix with them, and reduce your level of depression. Enjoy the sense of purpose of fulfillment in life. When you have done some job or helping others, you feel self-satisfied, and stay physically and mentally active. When you attend problems and solving the others' problem, you become alert and mentally active, reduce stress at various levels, experience happiness, and ultimately volunteering provides opportunities not only at the local level but also global level. Like UNESCO, they look for volunteers in different areas, right from education and health and public safety and so on, throughout the globe. In fact, as a volunteer, you have opportunities to work in different parts of the globe. And when you talk about volunteering, there are some myths. One person doesn't make a difference, but one person has to make a start. One has to commit long hours. It is not necessarily long hours of volunteerism. Even if you spend about an hour on doing some good service, it can be recognized forever. And I don't have the right skills. The skills are to be developed. So these are all the myths, and we can overcome all these things. And volunteering in IEEE, there are lots of opportunities IEEE provides in terms of volunteering. At the student branch level, as a student, you can take a leadership position. Like, you can become your student branch chairman, committee member, and vice chairman, and things like the leadership role. And then take a lead in organizing an event. If any event is being organized in the institute, you can become an organizer for various related activities, then prepare the budget for and oversee financials. This ultimately gives you the financial budgeting abilities. Then plan and schedule and manage the session. So session management is a very critical in an event, and you can be a volunteer at this. Fundraising, any event requires some funds, and getting funds is very difficult. You have to meet people, convince them why they need to fund the activity and so on, and create publicity like brochure creation, mailing, etc. Everything Either some creative work is there or some physical work is there. You can take part in this. Speaker identification becomes very important because you need to identify some speaker who is good in a particular subject of your interest, and this gives the opportunity of networking the speaker, coordinating with him, and so on, and communicating and coordinating with him. Then website creation, maintenance, any event, to give publicity, you need to have a good website. So as a volunteer, you can get involved in website creation, maintenance, newsletter coordination. See, newsletter coordination is one of the excellent area wherein, you are constantly forced to learn something new so that you can address the or create awareness to your peers. So the newsletter indirectly makes you to read lot. Then we have help in registration. So basically, as a volunteer, you can coordinate in registration related activities. When a lot of people come at the same time, you'll have to coordinate activities, hospitality management like transportation, accommodation, catering. All these things require some amount of physical assistance. So as a volunteer, you can step in, arrange awareness programs, be a speaker yourself. As a volunteer, you can be a speaker. This gives confidence in public speaking, and definitely, it reduces your fear of addressing the group and so on. Promote engineering among school children. Basically, as an engineering student, you can create awareness among children. There are a lot of misinformation is happening in the uh, engineering education, so you can eradicate that. You can get involved in the promoting the engineering education among children, involve humanitarian project as I was mentioning the site projects. And at the section level, you can be the student representative of the student activities committee, volunteer in organizing section level competitions and events, help in reviving government student branches. Basically, it requires cajoling people, why they have to restart and regenerate the activities in their dead student branch and so on, and promote lot of events being organized by IEEE. And every stage, when you become as a volunteer, you get rewarded. So some of the IEEE volunteering benefits include get recognition, certificates, cash awards, free membership. IEEE recognize volunteers at different level and get sponsored for events, meets, and congresses. So basically, without any cost, you're able to organize, you can participate in events and so on. This ultimately gives opportunity to meet like-minded people, both peers and seniors across the world, opportunity to meet leaders, professionals, office bearers of various sections. The leadership of IEEE is at your disposal when you become as a volunteer. You have opportunity to interact with them on face-to-face level. Then opportunity to network with professionals for professional career growth and continuous learning. This volunteering, provides opportunity for continuous learning and get satisfaction having done something good for others. So this is nothing to value. In fact, it's most difficult thing to value is the amount of satisfaction you may get by helping others. So these are some benefits of volunteering at IEEE. I have given a broad overview of IEEE volunteering, and just at this stage, I want to sort of uh, give my own personal experience of volunteering, how it has helped over a period of time. So it may look like some amount of self promotion. It is not self promotion, but it is the actual reality. How I have been benefited by volunteering and networking in my career. So, if you look at the picture, this is what I was looking in 1971 to 76. This is my identity card at IIT Madras in 1971 when I joined as the student of BTech, and how I got into volunteering in IIT. So 1973, that was the time the IIT got the first computer, IBM 370, which happens to be the second largest in the country at that time. And first one was at Dehradun ONGC, IIT 3, the IBM 360 computer was there. And IIT got this 370 as a gift from German government to promote uh, engineering technology in IIT, which was aided by German government. and it was a fantastic computer at that point of time. Though when you compare to the current state, it is nowhere. In fact, the entire computer center was housed in a big floor, almost about 20,000 square feet. It is such a large floor, and the power of the computer, today's computer, can be housed in 200 square feet. So there is the size of the computer, and it so happened within the first month of the computer installation, there was a strike happened in IIT. The non-teaching staff went on strike, and they started sabotaging various infrastructure within the IIT because certain demands of them were not been met by the IIT management. So the IIT Computer Center was one of the target, and I was posted as a volunteer as a security guard at IIT Computer Center. So that was my first volunteering experience in 1973. And then after the strike and everything was over, the computer center was open for students to access, and I became volunteer, spending 1 hour on alternate days at the card punch room as well as the job IO counter. At that time, the jobs have to be uh, punch in a punch card, which many of the current students may not be aware of what is a punch card. So the instructions for the computer, the program instructions have to be punched, and we had a special punching machine, and people are not familiar. So as a volunteer, I used to help them if they encounter problem, as well as the jobs when they are handed over to the computer center to run, accept the jobs, and then they deliver the outputs. So that is the IO counter. So I was volunteering at both the card punch room as well as the IO counter. Then I became a volunteer during the CSI 74 annual convention. CSI conducts annual convention every year. On 74, it was held at IIT Madras, and I became a volunteer, helping the organizers in running the programs and assisting the delegates in various activities. And in 74, IIT Madras, we started the computer club so that it gives access to the computer time, and I became the treasurer of the computer club. 74, I helped in running training programs, particularly learning programming. Everyone was interested in using the computer, but they didn't have much learning programming experience. So the computer programming knowledge becomes essential. So some of the programming courses were organized, and I was a volunteer in organizing these program courses. 75 became the vice president of the computer club, and 1975 I became a student member of Computer Society of India. And 1976 I presented my first paper in the CSA annual convention held at Hyderabad. That is the CSA 76. The entire travel, boarding, and expenses were met by CSA. As a student participant, I got everything free. So this you may, if you happen to see this certificate which I got for being a volunteer. This to acknowledge with gratitude the services of Sri H.R. Mohan in organizing the 9th annual convention of Computer Society of India held at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras in March 1974. His energetic efforts in a spectrum of tasks from looking after physical amenities for delegates to organizing the technical sessions are very much appreciated by the organizing committee. This certificate was issued by Professor Bahabala, who happened to be the head of the computer center and one of the most well-known academic person in the IT field. So this was the first volunteering certificate I received. And this is the letter confirming my student membership way back in 1975. It was issued on 16th August 1975. I am happy to inform that the admission committee has considered your request and has accepted your application for joining the society. You have been allotted the student grade. So this is the entry into Computer Society. And this is the letter I received in 1977 when I became the affiliate member. After passing out from the IIT, I joined for a job. And when you are employed, you can't be a student member, so I had to become an affiliate member. So in 1977, I became affiliate member, I got this letter. And some of the volunteering work. So from the time I started my working, so I've literally attended many of the annual convention, which gave a lot of opportunities in terms of meeting people, networking with them, and meeting and trying to know what is happening in the field of IT. So at that time there was no internet. Only attending meeting gave opportunities for you to learn something new. So 77, I attended the convention at Pune and also presented a paper. 78, the convention at Calcutta. 79, Bangalore convention and presented a paper. And 1981 uh, at Delhi convention, 82 Chennai convention, and so on. Then 1984, when I moved to Chennai, I became the management committee member. Then 86, I became the editor of CSA Chennai newsletter Infoline, which gave a lot of opportunity for reading and then disseminating of information. And that way, I could network with a lot of libraries in the city, and wherein I could interact with them and then get a lot of resourceful material for publishing the newsletter. Then became the editor of CSI Digest, the publication of International Federation of Information Processing, which paved the way for networking with the international society people. And in CSI 88, I was handling the registration and hospitality services. In 89, treasurer of CSI Chennai. And then I helped the Indian team to participate in the CSA International Convention in Singapore, 1989. In fact, that was the first time it was held in Singapore, 1989. And incidentally, I accompanied the students, and our team won the first prize out of 21 teams participated in the international software contest. And 1990, I became the secretary of CSA Chennai, and again took the students for the contest which was held in Philippines, Manila. Again, our students got the first prize. And 91 became the vice chairman of CSA Chennai. 92 continued as vice chairman, and then handled the CSA 92 convention as the chairman of registration committee as well as the proceedings, and brought out a publication called Info Diary. It was more like a yellow pages where listing of computer services and benefits. That time there was no internet, and this type of directory services were very popular, and this indirectly generated a lot of revenue to the society itself. Then 1993, I became the chairman of CSA Chennai and brought out the second edition of Info Diary. And then 1994, I started the City Center and Resource Center for the Computer Society of Chennai and initiated the bulletin board service. It is again pre-internet. In fact, bulletin board services through the use of modem and access the database of a local system, and a lot of services can be exchanged with the members, but it was a very slow service. Only modem was accessible, no internet facility. And then 1995, we started the student model exam to give them the opportunity to mimic the examinations, the final examinations, and then chapter role exhibitions, we initiated. In 1995 to 1999, I was the vice president of the CSI Southern Region, dealt with the various activities, coordinating with the branches in the four southern states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, and Karnataka. Then 2000, I was the Web and Publicity Committee chairman of CSA 2000 convention and received the CSA fellowship in that year. And from 2001 to 2012, I held various positions like chair of divisions in microcomputers, software, data communication, publication committee, and so on. 2012 became the vice president, then 14 became the president, also represent the IFIF, ICANN, CIARC, and Bureau of Indian Standards. And 2015, as a past president, I was involved in the Awards and Academic Committee. And from 2016 onwards, I am the advisor, also part of the think tank and the chapter support and things like that. So this long service in CSA, I can say that or almost 30 conventions I have participated, and also organized 750 events and 300 plus technical talks. So this entire thing gave a lot of opportunities for me, and not only opportunities, it helped in enlarging my networking. And 1986, I became the senior member. This is a certificate. And this photo was taken in 2000 when I was given the fellowship of CSI. It so happened that I got the fellowship at the year of 45. I was the youngest fellow of CSI at 45 to get the fellowship. And along with me, Professor Agarwal and Neeta Lal, who happens to be the that time the chief marketing officer of DCM, and Professor S.P. Raghavan, who happens to be my teacher at IIT. And then this is the recent award of lifetime achievement at CSI Bhubaneswar held in 2020. So this is the award shield, which recognizes the lifetime achievement of myself as a volunteer of CSI. And this is the citation given. So I feel happy that my spending of almost 35 years in Computer Society of India as a volunteer has given a lot of opportunities in networking and trying to know about the technology and meeting people and so on. So this way, I can say that yeah, opportunity as volunteer helps many people, and as a student and professionals in whatever capacity you are at present involved in technical activities, you can devote at least a few hours of time in a week and provide service to the humanity at large. And this will not only help the society, it also gives a lot of recognition, self-satisfaction to the individuals, and at the end, it is a win-win situation for both. So with these few words, I would like to conclude my presentation. And if you have any specific queries, I would like to answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I will let you know the queries that some participants have dropped on the chat box. First of all, I want to see you a great thanks on behalf of all CUH members and participants. And I hope all will get benefited. Students will get advantages in their current and upcoming professional life. Some questions, queries raised by the participants. One is, first one is, somebody is saying that IEEE journals are okay, they are highest uh, uh, affiliated journals, but sometimes some organizers get the affiliations, have to organize the IEEE conferences, but finally the papers are not explored on the IEEE platform. Then how we can stop these type of organizers?
Yeah, can you just, because there was some problem in
Okay,
audio,
okay.
can you just repeat the question? What is the
Yes, sir.
IEEE? Ah,
Yes, sir. They are saying that IEEE journals are highest recognized journals, but sometimes they are asking about regarding IEEE conferences. They are saying
ah.
that some conferences are good, but some conferences are that they are put that these are the IEEE conferences, but exactly these are not the IEEE affiliated conferences. Then how uh, is there any way that we can stop or restrict this type of organizers?
No, the IEEE journals, they're generally very quality conscious, and then they have multiple review process, and it goes through a rigorous review process by professionals at both academic as well as the professional credentials. So obviously they look for a higher quality, and student level. You need to work very closely with the faculty and researchers, and then validate your own results at the beginning, and then submit the papers. This is the only way that your paper can get accepted.
Yes, sir. I think there is a student of instrumentation background. He is a
Ah,
first year student. He is asking that is he able to join the IEEE? He is from
yes.
instrumentation background.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no doubt. Any branch of engineering, you can join IEEE, and which helps sort of to enlarge your knowledge in various fields. As instrumentation student, you will definitely find the IEEE membership very, very useful. It costs only $27. And also, after becoming an IEEE member, you can become the member of IEEE Instrumentation Society also. So that way, you can specialize in your area. So that the Instrumentation Society membership may be additional $5 or $6. So you can become member, no problem.
Yes, yes. One question is about life membership. Someone is asking criteria about the life membership of IEEE.
IEEE unfortunately does not offer life member at a cost, but the life member position is offered based on your age as well as the number of years you have been the member of IEEE. If your age plus your membership year in IEEE exceeds 100, you become a life member. And a life member is free. There is no need to pay your membership fee on an annual basis once you become a life member. Like for example, I am 65 and I have been member of IEEE for 29 years membership. So it means the both combined 65 plus 29 is 94. So in another 3 years time, my age will become 68 and membership will become 32. So which means that some will become 100. So I will become a life member. In 68, I will become a life member. From then onwards, I don't have to be paying any membership fee to IEEE.
So one is if we are not subscribers, can we access any free e-resource of IEEE?
Yes, see, IEEE, there are some services offered only for the members, like IEEE TV and some of the journals access. But lot of the newsletters of IEEE, like, I was talking about the future direction. There are about 20, 25 plus areas wherein IEEE is working, right from 5G, IoT, and smart grids, and so on. All the newsletters are free. You don't have to be a member of IEEE. So these services are free. You can start utilizing the services free to start with. Then you taste the services and then you become member and try to get specific services of your interest.
One question is that what is the procedure in participating in IEEE for a student which is now pursuing or complete his course? For
What is the
pursuing
what,
for
Christy?
pursuing
Ah,
for pursuing as a student and or completed his course, what is the procedure that he can participate in IEEE? I think he is asking about the volunteering process.
yeah, becoming member, right? Procedure to become
Yes,
member.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay. See, no, what you require is just your email ID and plus your credit card for $27 payment. That's all. So within 5 minutes, you can become IEEE member online. So by generating an account using your email ID, and IEEE prepares an online membership form, and you fill up some minimum details like your qualification. As a student, you can mention student and then the course what you are doing and where you are doing the course, and then make the online payment of $27. In 5 minutes, your membership is approved, and you can start using the benefits of IEEE.
So one question is how to reach the students to all the programs conducted by societies of similar interests without clashing parallel programs.
Yeah, this IEEE, as a member of IEEE, most of the programs were conducted within the local area is free, and many of the programs of late are being conducted virtually, like webinars and so on. Again, they have been open free. So people from any part of the globe, they can register for these programs and then attend. So there is no restrictions in terms of attending programs. So irrespective of the geographic region, you can attend program being held in Sydney or maybe New York and so on. So being in India, you can attend programs of any part. But physical meetings, obviously, you have constraint of attending only in your local region.
Okay, sir. Okay, I think all queries has been taken.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And
Okay.
we get very positive feedbacks from participants also. They are saying that it's very informative. I hope all will get benefited with this, and especially students may get benefit in their professional life. Thanks a lot, sir. Some participants are asking about PPTs or recording. So we may share the recording.
Yeah, you are welcome. You can welcome to share that. Absolutely, no problem. Actually, this is for knowledge sharing. So obviously, you can share the thing. And if someone is interested in the PPT also, I will be happy to share it. Let them send a mail to me, hrmohan@ieee.org. Anytime, I'll be, and I am always available for any clarification. So they can contact me at hrmohan@ieee.org. This is my email.
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much for a nice
Okay.
presentation and informative presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, all the participants for your patient hearing. Thank you very much. Have a good day.